Yeah, you see my shirt. Okay. My name is Kyle Landon. I'm a musician. I'm 26 years old, and I've been writing and producing music for about half my life now. I keep a good track of everything I do, so I can tell you now I've written over 1,000 songs, 1,300 to be exact. And I'm just now realizing that I did most of it wrong. Most of these songs have no feeling. Let me explain that and how you can avoid it. When I turned 19, I was a couple months out of high school and I had confidently stuck to my decision to not go to college. I was dead set. A life and a career in music was it. So I began to pump out song after song, sticking to a blue-collar mentality. I'd set quotas for certain amounts of songs per day or week, and I'd structure my day to make sure I was getting at least 8 hours every day, including weekends. 2 a day, sometimes 5 a week, 7 a week, 12 a week, 15 a week, whatever. When I started, I was not good at what I was doing, but I was passionate and I was improving. I went from making a good song every 30 songs to a good song every 20 to a good song every 10 to an interesting song every song or two. Not everything is album material, but I was starting to think that most of what I was doing was not a complete waste. There was always some neat sounds or melodies or chord progressions or whatever. This strategy and mindset helped me immensely. I put the time in and I personally believe that it shows, but I was missing some things that I wish I knew earlier, some things I believe would have accelerated my life, art, and career forward, further and faster. This thing I was missing was poisoning my songwriting the whole time all those years. My songwriting strategy for 90% of everything I've ever made has been to pick a random plugin, or my guitar, bass, whatever, and play random notes and chords while going through different presets until something caught my ear. I lay down the MIDI or the audio, name the project, usually just random words, which is a lot better than the gibberish I used to do, and then I just keep building it from there. Open another random plugin, play random notes, and scroll through random presets as the previous thing loops, and just build and build, so on and so forth. And of course, like concrete ideas would form over time, rock drums over here, a coda over there, strings, whatever I need. But the whole time the song exists in its own vacuum, entirely informed by itself and itself alone. It's not reaching for anything. It's not representing anything. It's just a bunch of cool noises that are compliant with music theory most of the time. No emotions, no thoughts, no feelings. With this strategy, stranger sounds and chord progressions would take priority because they were more instantly interesting. I would then get caught in the feedback loop of just doing whatever immediately stood out to me until I hit the quota that I set for myself of until it's at least 2 minutes long. This is probably how a dog or a ghost would write music. Impulse only. And there is merit and validity to this, but at the same time, it has to be harnessed. It has to be pointed towards something tangible. It can't just be random stuff, and then here's this random just mess. I think I have 0 songs that start with a big, happy C major chord on a regular sounding guitar or piano, because that's not immediately interesting to me. It's not weird, it's not out there. It's not some weird preset. It seems like the most basic thing in the world, but if I was trying to paint a lifelike picture of a beach, one that really makes you feel like you're there, is it realistic to ignore the color blue because everyone else is using it? Because it's a basic color, because it's obvious? Everything has a place, a function, a purpose, but there has to be a value being strived towards. This is how school was for me too. This will get into a little bit of a story time territory, but it'll all make sense in the end, I promise. When I was in school, I gave what I know for a fact were great presentations. Everybody looked forward to them. I always brought humor and something extra to them. I had a showman type of extravagance and delivery. But I realize now that I thrived partly because every one of those presentations was assigned, required, and slotted to me without me having to do anything other than exist. All I had to do was wait my turn. I remember now just how much I struggled with doing anything that had to happen outside of the classroom. Finding somewhere to volunteer in 10th grade or attending after school events for credit in ninth, I always waited till the last moment or would just wait and have my mom set things up instead. I got my first job as a security system salesman because they were just sending out letters to everyone that just graduated high school. So I was and have been passive, successfully institutionalized by the California public school system. I became the ultimate life form at patiently waiting my turn. I was never taught how to make my own turn and never incentivized to learn how. This is why I've been failing for so many years, failing my loved ones, my art, failing to understand that yes, I need to put in a bunch of effort into marketing. Yes, I have to put in a bunch of effort into networking or just making friends with other artists. I have to find and help my tribe. Yes, I have to go out of my way for it by myself. I gotta let people know that I exist and that I do things with that existence. I think college would have taught me that. I never, ever thought I would say that. I never thought I would ever think that college would have been good for me. This is a real character development. But I ain't got no regrets. I figured it out now. So I know why my music hasn't caught on yet. 1, no marketing or networking, etc. And 2, because we don't know how to feel about my songs. You and me both. When I made music, I would just wait for the music to jump out and make me feel something, rather than me and my feelings and desires and thoughts and emotions and interests inspiring the music. I was being passive with it. I was just waiting for random notes and sounds to speak to me, rather than me speaking through it. It's been too long. I put out my first real studio album in 2016. It's about to be 2023. I'm not getting picked up by any algorithm or put on any playlists. Some journalist isn't just gonna randomly find me, listen to my music, like what they hear, interview me, and make an article promoting me on Pitchfork out of nowhere. The Needle Drop isn't gonna just find me somehow and make a 9 out of 10 review of my latest thing, giving me a fan base and income overnight. That's fine. That's how it's always been, and that's how it works. I gotta go get it. I need purpose, intent, passion, and feeling. Me and my music. I just had a brain blast. The phrase, "this song be like," is like 70% of how we talk about music nowadays. Look at the comment section on any YouTube video of any song, and it's just when the gummies hit or when you get yelled at by your friend's mom. Here's Twitter. I searched up "this song makes me feel like" in quotes, and it's just endless. This song makes me feel like I'm floating. I'm good. I open my brain. Little seaweeds laying back and forth. I'm floating, soaring, floating. Okay, a lot of floating, but feel like the main character. It's just, this is what it is. This is how it's always been. So my question now is, am I stupid? Is this whole video unnecessary? Am I the only one that didn't realize this? Look, I'm starting to get upset. I'm going through Pitchfork reviews. Look up feel. Like. Thugger. Like, free thug. Making himself wail like a dying cyborg on Runaway. Look here, I went even further. 10 times Fantano says feel on the Pimp a Butterfly review. 14 times he says that on the Kids See Ghosts review. 16 times on the Igor review. And you know what's funniest of all? The speeding bullet to heaven, his 0. He said feel once, only when he was feeling a 0. I wish I knew earlier. Ridiculous. I'm gonna play you something I made. I know this isn't self-promotion because it's not out, and I doubt that it will be. Just ask yourself, what feeling is this? I do in fact like this instrumental. The drum loop is thick, the chords and arps work well together, the electric guitars and bagpipes are interesting, but what does it feel like? What emotion is it? What place? What time? There's bagpipes and Asian strings and a boom bap drum loop. Is this supposed to be an international crossover? It's kind of mysterious, but like, what does that mean? What type of mystery is it? Are we raiding a tomb? Are we solving a murder in a small town? Are we figuring out if she loves me? It's not clear. There's stress, but stress about what? There's an element of drama to it, but what drama? Does the world need to be saved? Is there a relationship problem? It's just drama, and that's it. There's nothing bubbling underneath the surface. There's nothing descriptive about it. Nothing tangible to latch onto. It's just label, and that's it. It's okay for bagpipes and Asian strings to coexist. I might have been the first, cool. But what are they contributing to? I don't have to explain how they got together, but there has to be a goal they're both shooting for. It's not enough that they're on the same song at the same time, at the same key, at the same tempo, playing the same chords. If I figure out what feeling I exactly want to pinpoint, this song can be reworked and become something I'm proud of. Something I can show other people and easily describe to them in a sentence. Let's try it. This one is called The Cur Walks Still, which is just some random words I used. But let's use it to steer the direction. Cur is a word people use for a mutt, an angry mutt. Maybe this street dog went through some intense battle and it's over now, but it's sort of limping away, but it's still angry. Still even after surviving. And that's our feeling. Tired, beat up, angry, but unrelenting, plotting the next move. It's up to me now to use those feelings to make the song feel like that. Or maybe the drum loop can sometimes skip or chop at an unexpected time to represent tripping and limping. Maybe I can figure out how to make some tired yet angry melodies. You know, this is what being a musician is. You don't have to be some master storyteller or anything to write an instrumental fan fiction about Sif or Lil Brother. You just pick a vibe and try to burrow inside of it and then sort of blossom out of it as much as you can. It could be one word. If the vibe is just victory, then figure out what sounds like victory and make a victorious type beat. And I'm not saying that everything should be simple and that abstraction isn't allowed, you know. Something like Up My Sleeves by Death Grips makes me feel like I'm getting carbon monoxide poisoning on a spaceship. And I don't have to stretch my imagination far for that at all. That's what instantly comes to me. And that's what's important, is that instantaneous reaction, that instant feeling, the gut feeling. I think there's always a single sentence for every great song, no matter how out there it might be. What about this? Doesn't that suck? It's nothing to listen to, but I had fun making it. High school is when my metal consumption was at a dangerous level. And the metal I was into made me feel. Look at this. Garbage. And it's pretty recent. I just made it just to make it, I realize now. I was hitting a quota. There's no feeling anywhere. For all the experience I gained, the vocabulary I built, I can't say it's a total waste, but it's never gonna be like this again. I've had so many times when I heard a song I like and I wanted to make one like it, so what I would do was match the tempo, maybe even the key, get the drums close and use similar instruments in a similar way, making a pastiche. But imagine the feeling of the song I like is so much more important, I know now. If Surf and Turf by Boldy James makes me feel like I'm watching a waterfall in a beautiful white palace, then I need to make something that feels like that, rather than just ripping the drums off and using Zora's domain chords with slow descending arps. How many of your favorite songs don't give you any feeling? Seriously. I've never played a Dragoon game. I'm into Nier, but the Route B staff roll exhausted song makes me feel like everything ever is wrong, even without any context of the game. I don't know what Baby Blue by Fishmans is about, but it makes me feel like I'm floating through the happiest, bounciest dream. Power of Love by the Sotokoto Band sounds like some incredible party deep into the night in the middle of a forest or a jungle, neon lights painting the wood. But what about songs of mine that I do like? Songs of mine that do have feelings. They exist. The majority of these songs are ones that started with an idea already in mind, not just me randomly mashing about. Some sort of emotion, some sort of inspiration that I directly went for. The majority of my own favorites are the ones that already had lyric and thematic ideas, even before a single note had been played. The ones whose reason for existing I remember clearly. I need to harness this. Listen to this.
I want you to stare into the mirror and tell me who you see, because the one you see is the one that's losing me. In years from now, when you see my contact in your old phone, you'll regret all the love you never showed.
I feel this song. I was terribly depressed and it comes back to me every time I hear it. This song has feeling. Feeling has nothing to do with skill, experience, budget. Feeling is why this poorly mixed, cheaply produced song I made in 2015 with almost no vocal skill or confidence is 1,000 times better than the majority of the glossy, detailed, expensive sounding stuff I made in 2022. For this one, I was reading about the practice of gutter oil one day, look up at your own risk, and immediately made a song that has this sort of gross feeling to it, this greasy carnival feeling, one that has this fear of being rejected due to grossness, since I was also sad when I was writing it.
Got a roll inside my room, going mad inside my tomb. Don't you wake, don't you move, screws tape waits, now I lose. Please, please reach out. I'm not afraid, so afraid, please.
This one's a bit immature, but one day I saw something upsetting on a girl I like's Snapchat story. I was hurt, and I immediately made this. Angry about it, angry and almost embarrassed that I ever had feelings for her in the first place, and I let those feelings flow.
If they could read my mind, then they would not just point and laugh. If they could read my mind, then they would not just point and laugh. You point and laugh, I struggle underneath the quiet hum. You point and laugh, I struggle, choking faces, fighting numb. Get a call, how you been? I don't know, been the same, how I been? Oxygen, let me know, I can breathe in your arms, choking me, let you know.
We're together now, by the way. I'm not even kidding. Shout out my baby. One day I had this vision of selling fur in Afghanistan at a market in the snow. There's this drama of cold and poverty I felt here that I kept in mind the whole way through writing this. My album Spinning from 2018 was interesting because one day I felt like making a rushed trap album. So I made up a track list that I thought looked interesting. Then I wrote the songs to fit each name. I made every beat in 3 days, all 17 of them. And this song, Memory, was just me writing a trap song about memory.
So you're not like them, you made me so glad. If I hear from you, erase is all bad. Don't you remember me? Where is your memory? Don't you remember me? Where is your memory? Why did I ever bother? Can I keep you for longer?
It's the only song I've ever had where a random stranger just came up to me and on the internet and said, I like this song, this is a good song. It's really stripped back and super honest and straightforward. The majority of my lyrics across my catalog hide behind being abstract and weird, which can be fine. But I know now that there has to be things for people to hold on to. It can't just be some weird jigsaw that doesn't even properly fit together at the end all the time. My usual album strategy was to make a bunch of random instrumentals, pick out the ones I felt in my gut needed to be on it, write and record lyrics to them, repeat till the album's done. But the themes of the album, the underlying ideas, the title and the art, the track listing, the reasons why each song had to be there are just things that always came to me. straight from the gut, and things I just felt had to be there. The things I wanted to do and say. And I can say I always did this right. I just wish I realized earlier I should be doing everything like this. I haven't been to New York yet. I wasn't even born yet, but when I listen to Illmatic, I feel like I'm in Queens in the 80s and 90s. When I listen to Rat King, So It Goes, it feels like 2010 New York. Yes, I just compared So It Goes to Illmatic. Meshuggah's Catch 33 makes me feel like I'm getting tortured by H.R. Giger organic machines. The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, self-titled, makes me feel like I'm in a warm, wood-paneled coffee shop on a cloudy day in London. Susuma Hirasawa's Technique of Relief makes me feel like I'm some type of joyful cybernetic king on a quest to save the world. Look, oh, he's been tipped over this whole time? What are they contributing to? I don't have to explain. Look at my friend over here, right side up now. Every time I hear Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure, I feel like I'm hanging on the edge of tomorrow. And this song I wrote, does not bring anything to my mind or to my heart. It's got a weird swing to it. It's in 6/4. It's got stabby chords, but it doesn't say anything to me other than I'm weird for the sake of being weird. I could just say that it sucks and forget about it forever, but I'd rather figure out how it could be saved and how I could avoid trash talking my next songs for a YouTube video in the future. Think of this, right? Someone's cooking for you and you're watching them cook the whole time. And they're explaining it to you and they're trying to make it just how you like. They know what you like, right? And they're like, oh yeah, it's got this pepper and that spice. It's got sugar and honey in it too. I know how you like the sweet and the spicy together. And you're excited and you finally eat it and it tastes like water. Even though you saw them put all the ingredients in there, and then you go back to the kitchen and you take a bite of the same pepper you used and it tastes fine and the honey's fine and everything's fine. So why does the dish taste like water? Something's wrong. It's the same thing with this song. It's like I can tell you the elements of it. I can hear it, but it's nothing. It's water. I mean, water's cool. I love water, but something extra that's been building in my mind as I've been putting this video together. Yeah, bizarre, indescribable feelings are okay. Like abstraction, strangeness, they're all cool. They're not things I'm just gonna abandon in exchange for basic things like happy song, sad song. My problem with this song is that while it does have elements of strangeness and abstraction, it doesn't lean into any of those feelings enough. It just treads the water when it should either fully submerge or get out and dry off. The problem with treading is that you get tired. Nobody has ever wanted to tread water forever. Music should be the purest, most concentrated form of whatever it is that it's representing. And there's so much more you can do once you pick a path. You can submerge in the water and then explode out like a volcano. You can get out and then berate the water that you were just in. You know, the options are limitless. We're musicians, we're creatives, we're artists. That's what we do. Just make things up and figure it out, represent it. Maybe this song invented a type of synthwave cabaret music, you know, cool. But how does synthwave feel? It's powerful, it's driving, it's energetic, it's got a bit of nostalgia. Cabaret music, if I'm not mistaken, is like a waltz, like a smoky back room type of waltz usually, or something. I could be dead wrong. It's jazzy, but I could be dead wrong, but you know what I mean anyways. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. It was, I want to make sure this video covers all the bases. What's funny about this song is that it completely changes in the second half, and I love this part. I feel a nocturnal sadness, regret, and tiredness. I think I subconsciously realized that I was having regrets over what I was writing, how I was writing it, and why. And it showed up in the song, which is cool in a way, but you know, the first half could be cool too. I wrote the song Bismuth after someone on Reddit told me that my production was amateurish, so I had something to prove. The song after it, Sundown, was just one of those things that didn't have any feeling into it at first, just randomly doing stuff, but it turned out cool anyways. Being random and making stuff just to make it has merit and results, but I'd really like to get to a point where all my instrumentals have something to say without the lyrics carrying that responsibility all the time. I'm not really into shooting into the dark anymore. I just put out a video where I made 20 loops in an hour, and I had less than 3 minutes to make each loop. The vast majority of them were weird. Some of them were straight up unusable. And yeah, spending less than 3 minutes on each one can have those results happen sometimes. But then I made a second video where I made beats with those loops with unlimited time, and those were dry and uninspired. Just running around like a headless chicken. Making those videos really damaged my self-perception and made me come to this very realization that I've been spending this whole video exploring. Maybe you should experiment like that. Yeah, just film yourself doing some ridiculous challenge, just rushing your craft really frantically, and then watch that footage back and just see how much you hate everything about it. See how much you reevaluate everything that you do and change your whole life. Not every song I make from here on out is going to be a mega hit, a placeable beat, an album-worthy cut, or whatever. But I think from now on, I'll at least be able to say something about each and every one of them. That one sentence that anyone could understand. And even if others don't like it, that's fine. That's how it is. I just hope they still get that feeling from it, though. Even if it's a feeling that doesn't interest them. Or if they don't feel like I completely met that feeling, at least it's still a feeling. Music is the most magical form of communication. It's one that crosses time, distance, language, and culture. And music without feeling is just gibberish of the soul. My name's Kyle Landon. I'm a musician and I make videos about music too. I hope you found this interesting if you're a fan of music, and helpful if you make it, or just art in general. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Immediately after filming. That's at least $2 worth of oats. Oh, how could this happen? Yeah, happy birthday to me. I was using this on top of the speaker, on top of that roll of toilet paper to prop up my phone to record, and then in the life of a thug.